Hello everyone, welcome to episode 1 of Chinspinchats. Tonight I'm joined by my good friend Adam Guthrie.
Thanks for having us, Cal, mate. I'm looking forward to having a good catch up most of all. But thanks for having us, mate. Appreciate it.
No worries, mate. As I say, it's been a while since I've seen you, so it's good to actually catch up with you.
Catch up properly, mate. Aye. So what have you been doing with yourself? How's life?
Wait, to be honest,
still training in that?
Still doing bits, mate. Yeah,
good,
I mean,
good.
Obviously, just mostly strength and conditioning at the minute.
Yeah.
Just taking out doing that.
Spot on, mate. See, I think obviously with the tags as well now, like I was saying with the lockdown, that's good that you can get in and still train, mate. Do you know what I mean? So, I'm really looking forward to this, like having a good catch up here, like Carl.
That's it, mate. As I say, there's plenty of bottles for you to get through, mate.
Definitely. So, what's the latest? Mate?
No, mate, to be honest, really, I mean, obviously, just spending loads of time with the kids and that at the minute, and then getting bits of training when I can, if and when, but it's I've been a bit busy. What you been up to?
Well, I've been working, mate. Obviously, I've been non-stop with work and that, but obviously with the lockdown, it's been, it hasn't been ideal, mate, do you know what I mean? So, but I think when we come out of lockdown, I think this goes for me and for you. I think a lot more opportunities will come. But yeah, mate, I'm looking forward to it. I'm just gutted that the gyms are shut, mate. Do you know what I mean? I can't really train as much. It's literally just going out, running, shit like that, you know. So, but I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? What can we do?
Shy, to be honest.
The way I say it, right? Like from April, the bars are up, mate. So we got a wild, mate.
So, what you been doing graph-wise then at the minute?
So I've been back to college, mate. Obviously, I've been working in there, mate, with young students with obviously autism and things like that, mate, which I know obviously we've had a chat about this before. You've done it yourself, haven't you? So mate, it's been great. I've been really enjoying it. And as well, I think I'm lucky compared to a lot of people because people during this lockdown, mate, they've lost jobs and things like that and haven't had a job to go to. So it's been mint for that, just getting out and about, mate, you know. So how have you found it? How have you found the lockdown?
It's been mad, mate, to be honest. I mean, obviously when the first one hit, everyone was skittered and not really knowing what was going on.
Exactly.
But obviously the second one or was it the third one?
I think we're on the third one now, mate.
I've lost count where we're at, but basically, obviously I got to fight in while it was still kind of, I don't know if it was classed as a lockdown.
Well, it pretty much was, mate. That was really in the land, wasn't it?
So that was pretty cool. But aside from that, man, it's just mostly been spending time with the family and just chilling, you know what I mean? Just trying to get on with it, like.
I know, mate. Like I say though, you're lucky, mate. Like you say, for me, that you're still able to go and do stuff. Like you say, you're still able to train, mate. You're still able to fight. You know what I mean? So, what's your plans coming up anyway? Because I've been meaning to ask you, obviously. You know what I mean?
I mean, obviously, just see what's on offer. You know, I mean, see if there's any organisations who want us to fight for them and see what's there. Essentially, just waiting to see what happens on that front. But at the minute, I'm not. I'm not stressing about it, you know. Everyone's kind of in the same boat anyway. I mean, there's one or two people getting a fight, but for the most part, you know what I mean, it's not really happening. So
I think the main thing is, mate, at least you're ticking over, you're still training, you're still keeping fit. Obviously, I said to you tonight when I've seen you, obviously before we even come in, you look in good shape, do you know what I mean? You look like you've been bashing the chicken and rice, mate, you know what I mean? Christ almighty, yeah, I need to get out.
Tuna and rice cakes.
Tuna and rice cakes, mate.
Nah.
You'll be swimming down the back of that.
Nah, I'm heavy at the minute, I died a bit, but I'm just enjoying it.
Yeah, enjoy it. This is what it's about. Like you say, when you're not in fight camp and that, you can enjoy it, you know what I mean? So
it's like, obviously, it's as I say, with the lockdown and shit, it's not like much else is happening anyway. So it's like, when do you get this time again?
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
Of course. But like I was saying to you before, mate, and I think we were talking about this previously, I think going back with the lockdown, I think a lot of people are sort of sleeping on it and I think using it as an excuse to just, without sounding awful, but I think people are just using it as an excuse to like drink loads, you know what I mean? I like, but I think using it wisely, mate, people should be looking to use it wisely for when they come out of lockdown, do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of people are sleeping on it, but there's also a lot of opportunity kicking out there as well. So like you say, use it wisely and you know what I mean? Good things will come, you know. So
for sure.
100%, mate. 100%.
I've been obviously getting a couple of little bits in the sidelines myself, just trying to set myself up with some little side things, you know what I mean? So I've got some pretty cool stuff in store with that. But
good, mate, good.
As I say, it's just the same as anyone, really, just trying to get on. Fortunately, I mean, it's fortunate enough for me that I was in a position where obviously I had a fight, so I've had a bit. While then other people have been losing jobs and shit and panicking and stressing about money, I've been in a position for a while.
Exactly,
so it's like
I think as well, when you've been in the fight game as well, you have had activity as well, so that's been a good thing for you, mate. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, what's your feelings on your last fight? Because obviously I watched it, mate. Really enjoyed. Obviously, I was rooting for you. You know what I mean? I'm always rooting for you, Carl. You know what I mean? How do you sort of look back on that now? And how would you have said you sort of dealt with the loss?
I feel like I always cope with a loss as well. You know, I lost fights from a young age, whereas a lot of people these days start MMA or start fighting a bit later or whatever. But I started when I was 12. I started boxing then, and had 26 boxing fights. You know what I mean? I lost a couple there as well, and it's like
it's all a learning curve.
It's like people. I honestly didn't care about my records or out like that. I just love the actual part of competing, you know.
But it's like what they always say, Carl. It's like you don't lose, you learn. You know what I mean? You don't lose, you learn. That's the beauty of obviously MMA. Obviously, Meg's a fan. Obviously, you're being my mate. That's why I love watching you fight in MMA in general. But I think it's just such a complex sport, mate. There's no, to me, right? Is it even a sport because it's so violent, mate? Like, honestly, I commend you because I think, God, like people that are actually going in there putting it all on the line, right? They need more respect, mate, because I think when everything's going great, like I say, mate, for MMA fighters, boxers, or whatever, especially MMA fighters, right? I think when everything's going well and you're getting wins under your belt, everyone wants to be your mate. It's like, oh, Carl. But then when you get a loss, it's like, how do the fighters themselves cope with that? You know what I mean? So it's like, but to me, I commend anyone that's actually willing and game enough to get in there and actually fight, mate. Fair play to anyone, mate. You know what I mean? So good on you for that. You know what I mean, Carl?
It's cool. Like, as I say, like, it's just
it's what you do.
It's just part, like, obviously part of what you do. And obviously, as I say, I boxed from such a young age, and then starting that, and then it was just something that I always fancied doing and really enjoyed it, and I enjoy testing myself, you know. And then obviously
that's what makes fights, mate.
Being a decent, like in a decent position in amateur boxing, and then starting that and nothing, you know, as I say, like as I touched on earlier, like having like a side on boxing stance, I get my leg kicked off, I get taken down easy, and then obviously just adapt my style, closing myself off more, being able to try and learn to defend more, takedowns and stuff like that. And
you're always learning.
Just try to like adapt my style to being able to sprawl and brawl. Basically, like it was like anti-grapple if I hit the mat, stop takedown and box essentially at the start. So it was just finding the differences for my style that would work. You know, it was fun, and that's kind of what made us love it so much. From being like from not knowing anything and then trying to like.
It's one of them sports, can't we? Like you say, you either cut out for it or you're not. Do you know what I mean? I mean, me personally, Christ almighty, like, well, I tell you, I can't fill a form in me. But I think you either sort of cut out for it or you're not. And obviously, it's a lot of hard work as well, learning different sort of. It's how many disciplines is in MMA, Carl? Like
there's all sorts.
Jiu-jitsu, wrestling, boxing, karate in a sense as well. What's the other one? Thai.
There's all sorts, mate.
All sorts, everything.
But it's cool, man. It's a mad thing. It's a roller coaster ride every time. You know, it's like it's like a mad experience. Like you just obviously, it's a daydream. It's every fight, mate. Every fight, it's like you haven't actually lived it. You know, like I remember like. Like it's different now. I feel it differently now, but you know, when I was young, when I first started in MMA, I was literally, honest to God, the only way I can explain it is like tunnel vision. Honestly, like going out and then walking out with just the biggest cheesy I've ever just been, like nervous as hell, but just in the moment. And it's honestly, it's crazy. And it's like, obviously, the more fights I've had now, you relax, you take your time on, you break things down better. But when you first start, honestly, it was like fucking crazy.
And imagine, mate, there's no one. You know what I mean? Crazy, man. Like, there's no one can explain that feeling, mate, unless you're an MMA fighter and do what you do. You know what I mean? Like, Christ almighty, mate. Like, I just get proper nervous at the thought of like someone, mate, like wanting to punch me head up, mate. You know what I mean? You do that. You do that for the bread and butter.
It's mad, man. Honestly, it is every time. You take something different from it every time. It's just a mad rush, you know. Like as I say, even in the loss, like even
crazy life.
Exactly,
crazy life.
No matter what, like before the fight, no matter what you're thinking or what you're feeling, like win or lose, once it's done, you're glad you've done it. You know what I mean? Whereas every time you're going out, I don't know, other people might feel differently. Other people might talk shit, but this is how I personally feel. Every time before it, I'm fucking like, you're nervous, you know, like you're feeling it, and it's a mad rush, and it's like, you tell
the best
yourself,
drug in the world.
I remember before I fought Nathan Grayson, man. Honestly, before I fought Nathan Grayson, and I cut a fucking horrendous amount of weight. And overnight the night before, I did loads the whole camp. But overnight the night before, I remember waking up on the Thursday morning. First thing on the morning, I jumped in the scales and I was 68.9 kilo. And when I weighed in the next morning, I weighed in 61.2 the next morning. But I was basically 69 kilo on the morning before, and it was like, honestly.
How did you get
I did over a stone in the bath, but it was, honest to God, it was like it was bad, you know. And obviously I was fighting Nathan, and Nathan, I'm super close to Nathan now. Yeah, I'll be friends with him for the rest of my life. Obviously I already knew who he was before the fight, and I remember obviously knowing who he is, and I knew what kind of fight it was going to be. I knew it was going to be in the trenches, you know.
Tough.
I knew it was going to be a tough fight, it was obviously I cut all that weight the night before it, but I was sparring with Perry a couple of weeks prior to that as well, and he hit us for a mad shot around the back of my lug. I can't remember what he'd done. I think he had like a single leg or something like that. Flung the single and hit us for a big leg around the side of my head, and it rang me bell pretty bad. You know what I mean? Rang me bell pretty bad, and this is in the first round, and I was trying to soldier through that round.
Where's that fucking bell? I'm getting right now.
Soldier through that round with Perry, and then I had a couple of rounds with whoever else. But then it was weird because after that, anytime I was like wrestling, so say if I shot a hard double in my head, someone's hit or something, I felt like it was like ringing me bell a bit. So I was like, shit, you know what I mean? Nathan Grayson's a fucking knockout puncher, you know what I mean? He's a heavy-handed kid, and he's knocked some good kids out, you know what I mean? So fucking, I had that in the back of my mind as well.
Catches me.
I take the fucking shot. Well, I've never been put on my back for punching my life, touch wood, you know what I mean?
You do.
But to this point, obviously, that had happened. I was like, fucking hell. And I'd cut so much weight. I took so much water off my fucking brain. I had this mad pain in my head, like all day. It was like zzz in my head. And I was like, is this my body telling us I've like cut too much water? I'm fucked, you know what I mean? This was even still when I'd rehydrated, but fucking I was fucked when I wanted the scales in. I was horrendous. Couldn't sort my eyes out for the rest of the day. It was brutal. I was fucked, my eyes sucked right in, feeling like a zombie.
I couldn't imagine what years off the GoPro like.
But then obviously rehydrated, and thankfully I had a mint rehydration set up, you know, because this was the first time I'd used this method. I got Dean Kirk on. This was the first fight I worked with Dean. And there's no way on earth I'd have been able to take the damage that I did in that fight with Nathan if I hadn't have had the rehydration that I'd used off Dean, because my fights prior to that, I was winging it, using Raj. Honest to God, this is God's honest truth. This is the side that people didn't take.
That is mental.
Winging it, mate, using Raj methods, man, just like whatever, like different bits from what we'd learned from different people, doing weight cuts and stuff like that. It was just trial and error, man, you know what I mean?
Have you been in fights, but you've literally just winged it some of the times as well? And that,
I winged the weight cut. Oh, man, fucking hell. The rehydration when I fought Lutando Obiko in South Africa, I swear to God, I was fucked, man. I was fucking done, man. Honestly, no disrespect to Biko, you know, he won the fight. He's a great fighter. Won the fight, perfect. I'm buzzing for him. But prior to this, I was fucked going in, man. Honestly, me and Fisher, man, were fucking. We got told right on the way out there. There's a water shortage in Cape Town, right? This is the truth. There's a water shortage in Cape Town, right? And there's you basically the water gets cut off. You can only get a quick thingy in the shower. There's no saunas, no hot baths anywhere. All this shit in the same come out on weight. I'm like, hey man, I'm 6 foot. How am I fucking gonna be able to mark weight without a fucking without a bath or a sauna at least? It's like it's physically impossible. Like, oh, you're gonna have to come out on weight. I can't fucking come out on weight. So honestly, I was killing myself every day that whole week leading up to the fight. Sweatsuit on, fucking pads, killing myself, whatever. Doing bits and bobs. I was at
trying to get that last
was it fucking Pride Fighting Academy, I think it was. I think that's where we were doing all the weight cut. Anyway, and then obviously the actual cut itself, we ended up getting, there was a guy called Tyrone Kidney. It's his company's Raw Catering, Raw catering co on there actually.
Yeah.
He sponsored us and they're from South Africa.
Right.
And basically he said, oh, like we did fucking loads the Thursday night, like I was just on the bike for fucking ages. I was doing pads.
Just trying to get it all off.
Shadowboxing, skipping, sweatsuits on, everything. But I've been doing this all week, absolutely butchering myself. Get to the next morning, still had a fair fucking few kilo to go. And then fucking Tyrone was saying, oh, you can use my bath, but get an Uber to my house. Get an Uber to my house and I'll pay so you can get here and use my bath. So we get out there. The taxi mate, honestly, we're driving about for fucking ages. I'm looking at the time, panicking because to start the weighing time, you get a certain window. And I'm like, I'm going to miss the fucking, we're in the middle of fucking Cape Town somewhere. I didn't know where we are. No clue of where we are in this Uber with this Raj guy. And I'm saying to Fisher, I'm looking at it, I'm like, fucking hell, like, it's got the sat nav there and it's saying it, like, I can't remember the numbers, but it was something like 6 hours. 6 hours. And I was like, looking, I was like, where the fuck's this gun tapping us? You know what I mean? That's 6 hours on there. This place we got, he's only meant to be just outside of where the centre, you know what I mean? So we're fucking I'm like, man, that's not the replay, is that? And he's like, it is, saying all this shit. I'm like, this is not the replace. This like, so he stops off. I put the fucking code in again. It says somewhere completely different way. So eventually gets to this fucking, it's like a gated community. We get there, gets in straight away. I was like, right, run the bath. I'm like, it's not hot enough. Like, I'm not going to be able to cut weight. Listen, I've only had the hot tap on. Like, it's not getting hot enough. I was like panicking like mad. Fisher's like, just day one bath. You will see one. You will see what your weight's like after one. Does 1 20-minute bath. Gets out, weight's exactly the same. I was like, nah, I know it's not that. I did me wrap as well, sorry. Gets on the scales exactly the same. I was like, nah, it's not hot enough. So I tell Tyrone he gets a kettle, but his kettle was it was like an older style one, like the click down thingy, and it took ages to boil every time. So he was boiling the kettle, pouring it in while I was in the bath. But then obviously by the time the next kettle had boiled, the water temperature, it kind of leveled itself out, you know what I mean? So it was fucking, it wasn't getting hot. So I did loads of these baths, eventually kills myself. Gets to the point where I was just like, right, if I'm not on weight here, I'm not fucking doing it, you know what I mean? I'm just going to go to the weigh-in and just jump on whatever I am. And if I'm over, I'm over, you know what I mean? So I get out. And there's 0.01 again. So I was like, oh, fucking hell, I've mad it, you know what I mean? Like, I'll put my clothes on, get to the venue.
Is that not much then?
No, 0.01. So it's like football, or fucking not even 100 grams, you know what I mean? Like, it might be 100 grams. Like, fuck knows, I'm shit with measurements. But 0.01.
Don't tell us I was 10 inches. It was only 6.
Basically fucking, I get my stuff on. Going to the venue, mate, we're driving to the fucking venue, man, right? And it's starting fucking ages. We get there and I'm like, it's in this get mad casino, mate, but it's inside like a gated like area. So the guy's like, he's not gone through, and I'm like, what you doing? He's like, money, you need to pay money to get through. And I was like, no, you know where we're going. You've already took this money on fucking what's it called? No, what's the fucking Uber? I'm like, oh, Uber, you've already been paid. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, fucking driving. He's like, no. I'm like, are you fucking for real, mate? I'm gonna be late. Driving. I'm like fucking panicking like man. I'm like, Fisher, he's not gonna fucking drive in. I'm like stressing like mad. There's somebody in the car. I'm fucking shouting out the window. I'm fucking stressing like mad. Fisher breaks in his bag and he finds some coins. Gives the guy some coins, guns in, fucking gets out. We're going through, we've got to get searched and all that. Right. Walks to where we're going. I find the can I crack one of them bottles, man? I find the cheers, mate. I find, thank you.
I'm gonna have one as well.
I find the cheers, brother. Find the weighing room and that, gets in, jumps on, expecting to be on weight. It was a world title fight, no, let's not forget. So it was you had to be. There was no 0.6 allowance. It had to be 61.2 kilos, no more. You know what I mean? Otherwise, because there's no allowance. So I was like, gets on, expecting to be on weight, and it's the exact same weight as what it was when I got on the skate, got out the bath. I was like, oh. And he's like, oh, we'll get the towel. I was like, fuck the towel. I was like, I'm not got any time for that. So I whip me fucking strides off, right, mate? And there's fucking people tapping photos and that. I whip me fucking invert penis out off weight. I've fucking absolutely fuck, look like a bag of bones, stood there, starts covering me knackers as if God, you means I would get a fucking photo of the fucking scales and all that. And I've got the photos, mate. I'll show you. Basically, fucking.
Whatever. Look,
I made the funniest fuck. I put one on Instagram covering me knackers, but Instagram removed it. But it was funny as fuck. You know what I mean? Basically, there's a photo of me there holding me knackers, and the guys laid out. It's funny as fuck. Anyway, bang on weight, mint, gets off the scales, starts chugging me shit, me drinks and that. Instantly, just gone straight through his mate, just fucking. Shit me fucking tail, but lose the lot completely. And all day was like that, mate. It was weird. Like, obviously, I wasn't shitting myself all day. That was the only time. But after that, it was like, I don't know. I just wasn't. I don't know what it was.
Did you just not feel how you should have?
Mate, I was fucked, man, all day, man, all day. Like all day. Normally by like midday, I started feeling like all right. And I was fucked, man. And then the next day, I got up. We normally do our warm up and stuff like that, like to get the body firing after a wake up and fight day. Did that, felt like shit backstage, the whole thing.
So people didn't say that.
Mate, it was just like a daydream when I walked out, man. I remember I stood behind the curtain, walking backwards and forwards. Fisher couldn't pad us to warm us up before the fight. I just did like a daft kicky routine with the front kicks, side kicks, moving, just getting warm like that, shadow boxing and stuff. Because Fisher had a bad concussion. He had a bad concussion, and when motion happened, fast motion, when he was padding people, he would go dizzy and stuff. So we didn't end up warming up like that there. And just everything felt mad, mate. It was mad. Like I walked out, and honestly, mate, I remember like walking out of the fight, like feeling like obviously like proper like shattered, my eyes dry as fucking that. And like I got in, and we had a decent plan for fighting Biko. And I got in, mate, and literally my legs felt so heavy. Like as soon as I knew what he was wanting to fight. It's like as soon as I felt pushing us on the fence the whole time, I knew that was the style of fight it was going to be. And I don't know, I just didn't have anything in my legs, mate. It was mad. Like every time I knew I was grafting, I was getting off the fence, and then I was getting back up when I was getting taken down. But I just didn't. It was just something. The energy. I just didn't have that. I was in the fight. I was the fittest I've ever been in my life, mate. I was training for 5-minute rounds, you know what I mean? So I was doing 5-minute rounds in my camp. So it was hard. I'd spot some really good kids. Ryan Crichton, Conor Hignett, small, really good guys, you know. Had some class, different rounds, different places and that. And I felt mint. I had like, it was just obviously gone into that. And then the cut fucking, I don't know, I just got in and it was mad. Like, I remember feeling like when I was getting took down, like I didn't feel like I was in loads of danger.
Did you just feel like heavy, as if like your mind was thinking?
I just felt drained, and like literally, I remember I sat down after the first round, and I was just like, I'm fucking spent. I was just like, I'm fucking done.
Just straight away, that mental mindset,
you're thinking, I'm exhausted. So guns out the next round, has a fucking hard round. Next round, really grapply, kind of gassy. Kind of pace, top pressure heavy and stuff like that. Tiring myself out, getting back up every time. And then the stupid thing at the end of the second round, where I know you got TKO'd, I wasn't hurt. None of the shots were actually landing that much when you watch it back. But I got stuck in a funny position where I couldn't actually defend myself properly, because he had like, I think he kind of had like a nice crossbody ride on us or something like that. And he had control of the wrist. And he was hitting, like chipping away loads. And I would hear the ref see him working. I would see him there. And I was like, well, I'm not hurt. I'm blocking a lot of them. But am I defending myself? I'm in a bad spot anyway. Ends up defending myself. Gets out. Same thing third round. Same thing fourth round. And then going out the fifth round. Obviously, I was fucking fucked. It was like I was in a fucking lucid dream, mate. I remember looking about, going out into the fifth round after already fighting for 20 minutes. I remember looking out into the crowd, and it was like I'd fucking moved in there. It was like I wasn't even in a fight anymore. I was just exhausted, like physically fucked. And I just remember looking across thinking, right, I have to fucking knock him out now. Because there's no way I'm winning this fight on the cards, mate. Walked out, flung the most telegraphed right hand off ever flew in my life, mate. Now you were hitting home like I need nothing, mate. Flung it, just slow motion, just seeing Biko just level. Oh, mate, I was so deep out of the top of him. I was like, fuck.
It's worked
upside down, but no, I got fucking dumped, man. I jumped, boom, hit the fucking deck. The cage is fucking spinning, and I'm like, fucking hell, you know what I mean? Like, shit, this is.
What was it? Dreams?
Just a bad spot, and just fighting through it. Obviously, when the fight was done, obviously I knew I'd lost. I'm good friends with his coach as well, Chris, great guy. And just fucking obviously
that's a fight game though, man. You've gone through losses, you've gone through experiences, you've gone through wins, but that's what makes you the fighter that you are now, Cal, you know what I mean? So you got, like you say, mate, there's gonna be fights in your career when you're gonna be like, you'll come across wins, you might come across losses. I hope you don't, mate. Do you know what I mean?
That was part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course it is, mate. It's all a journey. I took that like
as I say, so obviously I knew the fight was lost. I can't say get up. A big Al, me mate from South Africa, Alistair Bishop, he's one of me fucking really, really close mates. I'll be mate to him forever. He's such a cool guy. Made mate to him the first time I went out in South Africa. He's helped us setting up the podcast and everything. Honestly, he's helped us so much since in the small amount of time I've knew him. He's a fucking solid dude. Like, he's cornered us twice. He cornered us me second. I met him the first time I went out there. He cornered us my second fight out there, and he cornered us my third fight out there. He's doing good things for South African MMA. Yeah, he's putting a lot of his own time and a lot of his own money.
I bet you a lot of good fighters will come out of there, mate. A lot of good fighters.
Man, I mean, world class athletes there, and there's UFC fighters.
If you think about MMA, mate, some of the best fighters around the world now are coming out of countries that people would never think. Like, for one, Nigeria. Look at the fighters that's coming from that, like, you know. What, that Kamaru, Usman, fighters like them, Israel Adesanya, is he Nigerian? Is he?
New Zealand,
I see him as different jockey, you know.
As I say, I fucking get up and I'll fucking like, oh, put your top on because it's got my sponsors on. Now it's like, fuck, I can't put the top on, I'm going to spew. Sit myself down, I'm on the floor. Honestly, man, I was fucking dizzy as fuck. I was knackered, lost the fight. Whatever, went from there, and then obviously that's when.
How did you track the loss? How did you track it?
Fucking fine, mate. You know what I mean? It's a fight. Like, everyone always.
Of course it is. I think you're pretty good mentally because I think a lot of fighters, mate. Obviously, the altitude of fights can vary from fighter to fighter, but I think judging by what you're saying, that mate, I think you just condense it into what it actually is, and you didn't look like on the outside, like everything that just heightens everything, you know what I mean? I think there's a fight to mate. The main thing is, it's like you see it, it's the fucking fight. That's the only thing really that's happening. Everything else is just what's going on the run, really, you know.
Exactly, mate.
Crazy.
It's like
crazy life, mate. Like,
that's it, man. Like, mate, the thing is, mate, I've dealt with that much shit in my life.
Jeez, mate.
That losing a fight, mate, at the end of the day, it's fucking fun. You know what I mean?
Well,
going in there, it's fucking, sometimes you can get
like
paid you can get paid all right and stuff like that for it. But at the end of the day, it's supposed to be fun. And if you're not having fun,
well, they always say
that,
exactly, mate. If you're not having fun, then it is. I mean, that's what I was going to ask you as well, wasn't it? I was just thinking, like, when you're saying about like what you do basically for a living, mate, and it's like, what possesses someone, mate? Like, obviously, you know, I love MMA, didn't I? But what possesses someone to like, or like even have the balls to get in and do what you do, mate? Like, it takes a certain type of character and a certain type of person to actually go in and do what you do, mate. Do you know what I mean? It really does. Like, I couldn't do it, fucking hell, mate. Like, I'm scared of my own reflection. But I am, mate, you know. But fair play to you, like, you know what I mean? Wins, losses, whatever. It's all a journey, mate. It's all a journey, you know what I mean? So,
that's the way I've always looked at it, you know what I mean? That's the way I even look at boxing, you know. It's just like, that's the one. It's just a bit of fun, you know. And it's like,
it's what makes you, mate.
That's it. It's like it's character building, you know what I mean, mate? You fucking, there's so much shit happens in life anyway. It's like losing a fight. To me, I mean, not everyone feels this way. I bet you there's loads of people that when they lose a fight, I mean, didn't get us wrong, it's heartbreak, man. It's fucking horrible. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? Even when, mate, like a lot of that last one I got submitted, mate, it's like, it's man, how many times I get submitted in the gym? You know what I mean? That to me, all the fight is really is
a magnified spar.
Showing exactly what we do in the gym week in, week out, and I fucking love it, mate.
You take losses in the gym as you take losses in the main stage as well. It's all, like you say, just a learning curve, mate.
I love studying it, man. I love watching it. You know, I just it's
you
just
tell you love it, didn't you?
It's just an interesting thing, and I think it's a certain, as you say, a certain kind of person to be able to do it, and especially not just to do it in general, but to try and test himself against some good guys, man. It's like you get a lot of people who didn't, you know. So
well, that's the way I always say that, mate. I mean, even with boxing, mate, I find that's the difference between MMA and boxing at the moment, my opinion. I just think the best guys aren't fighting the best guys, and it's I understand it's business and that, but really,
it's bad, man. It's bad.
I mean, it's bad. It does go on. Didn't get us wrong in MMA, but I don't find it goes on as much.
No, definitely not.
What it does in boxing, mate. I mean, the two heavyweights in boxing, right? You've got Joshua and Fury. why are them not fighting? Like, I understand it's business, they're waiting, but fucking hell, them are the best fighters. Get it done, that's what people want to see. Exactly, that's the fight that people want to see. Make it, you know what I mean? And it's just, there's so much ducking. What's your predictions on that fight, do you reckon?
I think Fury will box his head off. He's an absolute spoiler.
So do I. I mean, Joshua was smart, didn't get us wrong. Do you know what impressed me? Do you know when he fought, who was the little Mexican kid?
Ruiz.
Well, not little, he was fucking hell. Ruiz,
have you seen the shape he's in now?
I know, he's getting in mint shape, and he. But like, when you look at him, right, and you think, oh, there's no chance he's beating him. Beat Joshua, but then what I liked about Joshua was his second fight, how he adapted his game. It shows he's smart. He's got a good IQ for the sport.
I do think a lot of that came down to Ruiz living the party life after that fight. Because he wasn't the same guy.
He was on Donna Raps every night.
he wasn't the same guy that is the first person that fought Joshua, and I think that had a lot of.
Well, he was hungry, wasn't he?
Hungry as funny, and then he's like. Living the life, living the big life, man. Fucking legend. Good for him, mate. You know what I mean? I love to see it, mate.
That was definitely the biggest upset ever, because no one was predicting that. The likes of Eddie Hearn and them, it was really, in a sense, it was just a build-up fight in a way, wasn't it?
Well, that's what they were hoping it was. That's what they banked on it. Have you seen his amateur credentials, man? He's doing some fucking good shit, you know what I mean? Good fucking fighter, man. Have you seen the camp he's in now? You've seen the camp Ruiz is in now?
I haven't. No, who's he training with now?
He's training with King Ryan, what's he called? Ryan
Garcia. By the way, I want a body shot on his last fight. Did you say that?
Campbell, I
like him.
Was it against Campbell?
Campbell dropped him in there. Was it?
Campbell dropped him, and then he was a good shot, man.
But
fucking great fight, man.
I like him. Like, what do you reckon, though? Because they're trying.
I think Tank. I think Tank. Sorry, I think Tank. I think Javante.
Well, look,
if Garcia can survive the early 6 rounds, I feel like he has probably got a good chance. But I feel like if he can, I feel like them fucking first 6 rounds are going to be absolute hell. I cannot see 100%. I cannot see him getting through.
Do you know what it is? I look at them both, right? Like, I love that Garcia. To be honest, mate, he fought really well in his last fight. Obviously, he took the drop, but he come back. Javante, he just seems a stronger man, doesn't he? And I think he's got that durability in that, you know. It's going to be a good fight, though. That's the fight they're trying to sort of push for there.
I feel like if... as I say, I feel like if Tank gasses later on,
it could gas because
Garcia's best chance. But I think aside from that, I think Tank sparks him. Like, I think early on, I feel like the first 6 rounds he stops him. Like, I do.
Mate. I think
if it does happen, this is when we'll find out how good he is. You know, because he could be
amazing. He's getting trained from Mayweather, mate. He's getting trained from the best boxer on the planet. Let's be honest about it. Like, how he's not going to be.
Garcia's in a good camp at the minute. He's with Canelo as well.
Canelo. I like Canelo. What about his next fight coming up? What do you think of that?
And the kind of pronounce it.
I can't either, mate. Christ, I'm the translator.
If I look at it, I'll have a crack, but I'm fucking cut right off that blood, so I'll be fucking.
What I and Jill are the ones out on bail. But there's some interesting fights coming up.
For sure.
I'm looking forward to it. Like, but MMA, man, better fights happening in there, man, at the minute, isn't there?
There is. There's some fucking really good
that
fights.
One there.
Is it March the 6th card? That's a fucking good card.
Really good,
Sterling and Yan.
I
think that's going to be special.
Definitely. Hey, do you know, what do you think about, because I was texting you the other day about race, what do you reckon about, you know how they're basically trying, I understand it for business purposes, Masvidal's going to bring in big numbers, he always does, right? But does he deserve the title shot? In my opinion, no, he doesn't. I don't think he does, mate.
If you can buy what's just in the world, then probably not. But I can see why they're doing it. You know what I mean? Of course,
it's big business. Masvidal brings in big numbers. But to be honest, right, from Usman as a champion, right, I think Usman wins it all day a second time again. But then Masvidal put that video on Instagram the other day, he was making us think. Masvidal was making us think. Otherwise, I was like, did you see the video he put on his Instagram? No. Well, it was the fight breakdown of like him and Usman, but it was Masvidal's best bit.
I think I was watching it. I've watched it.
I was watching it back, and I was like, God, he makes you think like he would fucking spark Usman.
I can't see it. Like,
smart. He's not too good of a fight IQ.
I would have said before a couple of UFCs ago that I didn't think that Masvidal has the chance to do it at all. I feel like he'd get ground out again like the first time. But now watching
all day.
But then watching how Gilbert fought him in that first round, and fucking
caught Usman, didn't he?
Dropped him in that, you know what I mean? So it's like, fucking hell, man, you know what I mean?
Like, do you know, like people like...
He nearly had him done, you know what I mean? That first round, obviously, fucking Gilbert fucking gassed himself horrendously.
He was slinging everything.
Got fucked, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? I think he fought him well, mate. I thought,
he did,
obviously, when Adam nearly put him away, if he'd have stepped on the gas a bit more in the first round, he might have finished him. You know what I mean? He had him fucking hurt. You know what I mean?
Mate, he was proper rocks. But
and now that
he seems to recover. Like
he's super fit, man. He's super fit.
But I think, like
fit.
I say, mate, watching his fights, he's the fucking champ. You know what
I feel like Usman wins, like definitely.
I think Colby Corbin could beat him second.
It was
like everyone's always saying, like, I had it in the fourth round. I think I had it 3-1, but then I was looking back and I was thinking maybe it's 2-2. When he got the Brock and Jaw in the second, I think that's what directed the fight into us, because he caught him in the fifth championship rounds, didn't he? And he fucking sparked him, didn't he? But I think if that fight happens again, obviously he's not going to be getting his jaw broke. Like, hopefully, hopefully he doesn't get his jaw broke. But
I would like to see Masvidal win. Didn't get it wrong.
So
hell, I'm rooting for him. I want to see him get it out. Lethal would that be? For someone with like, obviously, as we were saying before, he's fought every fucking man. He's fought all out. He's had some wild
1,000 wins, like 900 losses. He's still legal.
He's fucking.
That's not accurate, actually.
I think he's something like fucking, I don't know, 37 and 18 or something mad like that.
Well, I would still love to say the Diaz rematch with him, like.
I'm gonna have to get his fucking record up and have a look. I feel like Masvidal stops him better than he did the first time.
He's good, like, any.
I called it before the fight. I remember I was talking to Dan Hardy, and Dan Hardy asked us then when I was down, and he said, "How do you think it'll go?" And basically, I thought exactly what I said, and I was just like, "Wait."
Did you say that?
I said that. I think he's gonna fucking tap every fucking shot.
Well, I thought, to be honest, I thought
I was stopped.
I thought Masvidal was going to win the fight, but then I thought later rounds, because that's when Diaz sort of kicks into second gear. But he smashed him, like, didn't he? What was it? The third round? Third round? He's cut the death.
Possibly ended the fourth. Was it in the fourth? I can't remember. It might have been the third. It might be third. I think it was third. About to go into the fourth. It was before that, wasn't it?
So, and then it got stopped, didn't it?
I think so. I can't remember. I'm gonna have to watch it back. But his face was a fucking mess. It looked like he had a fucking grenade in his mouth or something. You see his eyes, man. His eyes were fucking butchered, man. Everyone's saying, "Oh, it was too soon. You should have let him go on." It's like too soon. He's gonna get fucking blind, man. What a state for him. People haven't got a clue. Everyone wants an extra pound of flesh. People haven't got a fucking clue, man.
Look, at the end of the day, the referee's job. It's their job
for sure,
and the doctors as well. The doctors are saying, but do you know what though? I must admit, as a fan of the sport, yes, I would have loved to have seen them last rounds, because
I think it would have got
like I'm a proper Diaz fan though, mate.
I'm biased.
I
am as well, for sure. Honestly,
do you think he would have got
massive fan, mate? Huge fan of Diaz. I always have.
Do you think he would have got
even more so? Mate,
do you reckon?
Watch the fight back and watch him. He's getting fucking hurt bad, man.
Great, mate. Honestly, I know
he fucking gets head kicked straight in the fucking dish, man.
That was the
mate. He's
straight in the mid leg.
That is only gone one way. That's one-way traffic, and I think there's only so much the human body can take. And he was getting fucking lit.
Mate, do you know that kick when he caught him? I think that was the first round, you know.
It was early on,
but it was like, if you watch the kickback, it was like a shin, mate, to the face.
That's the worst fucking thing. That's worse than the fucking foot.
You
get a baseball bat off your fucking head, mate. You know what I mean? He ducked into the fucking arm straight up. It's a fucking horrible shot, mate.
Horrible, mate.
But I feel like I was going one-way traffic. I feel like one was up in the pace and one was fucking low.
Masvidal was dominating, like he was. But then again, mate, like I say, I think the fourth and fifth man, you're saying that Diaz was like, McGregor. McGregor was bursting him the first two rounds, wasn't he? And then he got into third. Like,
but he rocked McGregor though. And McGregor for slow and massive.
Did he? Do you know the first fight? Did he stop him?
Reignated choke.
Was that the third round or the second? I can't remember.
It was the second, I think, wasn't it?
Second eye. So McGregor, but I think with McGregor with that fight, right? So he went from 145 and then he went up there. What was it, 170 when he fought Diaz? I was 170.
What you've got to remember is though,
he fatigued though, didn't he?
But
them shots drop anyone in 145.
Like everyone was seeing how much weight he's fucking put on and this and that and the other. And essentially, all he done really was just not cut weight. You know what I mean? He just didn't cut weight. I bet he walks about that weight normally. What's 170, 77 kilo? I fight a bantamweight more about heavier than fucking 77 kilos. You know what I mean? So if I'm doing that, McGregor, he's got a much bigger physique than me, and you know what I mean? He probably walks around that easy. You know what I mean?
So it's like you said, everyone's probably his new weight.
That's just not cut weight.
So, but did you not think that affected like his fitness and that in the fight as well, because he was a bit heavier?
Maybe he has been bigger leaning on him and stuff. That's always a factor in it. But I feel like
the first fight as well, because like obviously McGregor, he's like a fucking horse coming out the bolt, and you know what I mean. So you're like, and is it the bolt or is it the gate? It's one of the two. No, you know what I mean. He's not around the same. But like the first round, mate, he was smashing him. But then I think when he was realising he was dropping him and he was getting back up, he's like, fuck me, like it's not like the 145 was made. He's just getting back up, and Diaz just keeps on coming and coming and coming, mate. You know what I mean? He's like that's horrible, and he's an ugly bastard. He
does have him in gas tank, but I just feel like in that fight it wasn't like his gas tank was like going to fucking pull him out the shit. He was instantly going to be fucking lightning fast. He was getting lit up bad. He was slow and sluggish, getting fucking lit up. Like obviously,
mate, when he got caught,
mate, the state of the cuts on his face, man, he was fucking. I feel like the referee definitely, even though obviously they had to, I feel like they did him a favour, mate, because I feel like it was gone.
I think if that's what I was going to ask you actually, if there was any fight that we made in the UFC today, what would it be?
Oh, fucking hell. Any fight that would be.
I bet you're going to say Izzy.
Nah.
Is he involved? No?
Nah. Well, Izzy and Jones would be interesting.
Do you reckon I don't think that fight's going to happen.
Well, who knows? You know, obviously Jones is heavyweight now, and Izzy's just gone up the light.
He's looking big and all. Looking at his training videos.
So, I don't know what fight I would make, to be honest, mate. I mean, I don't even.
I'd like to say Colby and Usman, mate, again, like.
That'll be a good
rematch.
Obviously, Figueroa, however you pronounce it.
Figueroa,
his fight's just been rematched there. Is it Moreno?
Moreno,
he's fighting him again. I think that's an interesting fight. Fights I could make.
Future one.
No, who I would like to see. No, who I would like to see, mate.
Who?
TJ Dillashaw versus Petr Yan, or Petr Yan, however you pronounce
it. Yan,
if he can get past Sterling, which I feel like Sterling can win it all day.
Is that the lad? Dark lad. Always wears the gold chain. Ripped to death. Good looking kid. He's good. He is cool as fuck. Cool as out.
I feel like he can win it. So either way, TJ fighting Sterling or Jan, that's the fight I'd like to see, mate, for sure.
I like Dillashaw. Like,
tell you what, I'd like to see. I'd like to see Dan Hardy fight Nick Diaz.
Dan Hardy,
because Dan Hardy's talking about Martin's return. I'd like to see that because obviously
he's still taking shape. Look at his Instagram. He's still
trains every day, man. He's a fucking beast.
Knowledgeable and all.
For sure, man. I'd like to see him fight Nick, because Nick's had a big layoff as well. So I feel like that's a good fight, you know, as I was saying before about the like Legends League kind of scenario. I feel like that's a really good idea. Nick and Dan would be a sick fight, or Dan and Carlos Condit would be sick, you know, get that rematch on that.
That's the thing, man, with the UFC, there's so many min fights and making like styles and that wise, man. You're just
Cowboy.
Like the proper Cowboy.
Cowboy
would be sick. I love Cowboy.
Dan and Cowboy will be sick.
That would be a perfect fight, mate, because that brings in big numbers.
For sure.
Dan Hardy returned. Cowboy Cerrone brings in big numbers anyway. So I definitely think, mate, that's a min shout that like. But there's so much going on the outside. Dana White, man, he's fucking smashing it, isn't he?
It's a really good card that match.
Could you see yourself one day?
Obviously, I'd have to fucking write a couple of good wins together. I mean, I would never. I mean, I didn't.
The end of the day, mate. It's like
if it's an opportunity, I would definitely do it. We'll see, man.
100%, yes. Just keep doing what you're doing, keep grinding, keep training, keep, like you say, keep doing what you do. But mate, you're fucking smashing it, like, so fair play, mate.
Do you need Astrid, mate?
I got on. Do you need what?
I'm not fucking spotting that up yet. I was debating it, and then I tried to put my ashtray on the table with my hands so like fucking glue. I was like, I'm not gonna smoke all that blunt yet.
Like Clint Eastwood over there.
Gran Torino. It's a fucking belt of that, isn't it? Have you seen it?
It's unreal.
Love it, like it's fucking sick, isn't it?
I mean, it's fucking like a shame, mate. Just getting back to the MMA and that, man. It's just fucking, it's nuts, man. And I love it, mate. Like, and like for you to do this, your job, man, it's fucking nuts. You're nuts here, like.
Mate, I want to know. Mate. Like, obviously, most people obviously already know you on Geordie Shore. So what I want to know is, like, what was your experience like? Was it good? And did people's perception of you change?
Massively, mate, massively. I mean, I'll be honest with you, mate. You know me, and I'm just a normal lad. And obviously, I got the opportunity to go in there, mate, right? And like, basically, how it happened for me. So I got a message on Facebook, Carl, right? And it was some producer, and he was like, "Oh, Adam, we really like the way you look. We think you'd be marketable, blah blah blah. Would you be interested in a show, MTV, Geordie Shore?" And I was like, obviously, prior to that, the lads for years ribbed us. They were like, "Yes, you got that Geordie Arrogant Spice Boy like them bugs." And I was like, "Shut up, man, you daft fuckers." And then obviously, so I read back. I was get fuck off. It's one of the lads tapped the piss because I generally thought it was Carl. And then they were like, no, it's such and such from MTV. Want to come down tomorrow? So come down, met his mate in Tonic in Sunderland, right? 3 producers that spoke to us on the phone that night. And we're like, we want to come down and meet you. We really like the look of you in the sound of all the shite. But the way it was all shite.
So how did forgive us for interrupting me, but so how had they already heard about you, or had they just seen your face?
I mean, they might have seen us on the Lad Bible at that time. I was caught doing explicit.
Was that the toilet?
No, but I didn't mention it. I think that's the other team. I'll talk about most things, but I'm not talking. I'm sure I would be. But anyway, get back. So anyways,
sorry mate, so they seen you
basically just seen your Facebook before, mate, and then obviously it went from there. The messages, the metas in Sunderland. So one of the lads I was working with at the time, John, he come down because I was getting nervous. I was like, mate, do you want to come down with us and that? So he was like, why, mate, no bother. So went in Tonic, mate, had a few drinks before I come down. Like, now we get double red bottle. I absolutely ran sat there like a crazy egg. So anyways, mate, I had to come in and that, and they got talking to us that night. I was sat there, mate, a couple hours and got talking to us, and they really liked us, my personality, just how honest I was and whatever. So sure enough, that night I get a phone call, mate, and they were just like, Adam, like, we really like you. Can we come and film you with some cameras, but we want to meet your mum and dad? Can we film in your mum and dad's house? So I was like, I need bother get yourselves out, need bother with that. So I rings me, what do you get? I was getting, man, she was getting, I son. I says, there's some cameras from MTV, want to come in and interview us like on camera for a show called Geordie Shore. You've got me back a bit. Folks, then Geordie's on there. But so I mate, so they come into my house and that, and recorded us and everything like that. Sure enough, mate, that was nuts. Rang us on the night, right? I don't like really like you. So that was that. Anyway, what was it? The next day they were like, I don't want to come down with the cameras, but like in a club, and we just want to see how you're having that. Just be yourself. So I was like, see how I am. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just fucking Adam, me. I'm Adam from Shiny Moor. So, and he was, mate, I come down, took us to a club and that, and just basically, like, just show us what you've got kind of thing. Well, I'm not shy, can't fucking have you done, mate. I was giving some of that the old just go dick. So, anyways, mate, I just did this club. Anyways, that was that, filmed us that night. Rang us again that night. They were like, Adam, like, we really like you. And I was just like, I didn't fucking get this, mate. Like, in my mind, I was thinking, every time I've met you, I've been fucking stunned. You know what I mean? Like, mate, honestly, I was absolutely wrecked. So I was like, why I need bother all the way through, mate, just be myself. You know, I'm like, I'm a gobshite. That's all I am. And so they wanted us to meet the big bosses in Newcastle. So I went down, met the big bosses of MTV, sat there, had a meeting with them. And me meeting, it was like different to the other ones because they were like putting us on the spot a bit. I think they wanted to, because I'm quite a hard person to read, mate. I am. And they put us on the spot and asked us questions which weren't uncomfortable, but them like made it. They got to see a different side of us, mate. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think because I opened up a little bit, the likeness for it. You know what I mean? I was totally honest, mate, opening that. And then sure enough, mate, it was after then. I remember just getting fucking. What was it? Like one of the producers was like, "Oh, it's just a waiting game now. What I'm soon as I know, whatever." And then months later, I get a phone call. I was at work in the college. Gets a phone call. It was on the Monday. Fucking terrible day, Monday it is. Absolutely. gets a phone call. Oh, Adam, congratulations. You're getting on Geordie Shore. We're flying around the Gold Coast, Australia tomorrow. I was like, fucking hell, we're champion. So I said to me, Gaffer at the time, my great managers that day, I honestly made that would sound like, I obviously get away with murder, you know what I mean? So they were like, Adam, can enjoy yourself, mate. I was 23, 24-year-old, had no ties. I was like, I'm getting offered the opportunity to get paid and go over to Australia and fucking party, meet women, or however, mate, you know what I mean? Couldn't turn it down, mate. And so that was that. And I thought, you know what it is? Gan for it, mate. You know how often you get offered opportunities. Sure, man. You know yourself.
Can't jump at that shit, definitely.
So next day, mate, I was just on the flight thinking, I remember getting to Singapore thinking, what the fuck am I doing in Singapore? Can't even spell it. I'm just looking about that. I'm just kidding. I do not belong here. So that was basically how it happened, mate. It was quite quick, but obviously over like a few interviews and everything like that. But the experience, mate, for me was good and not bad, but like it wasn't what I expected, and I was sort of manipulated without realising in a lot of ways. Not everything on TV is what people see, especially on these shows like you see the Love Island, all that. Shite. You know, I didn't watch it. But anyway, so when I went on, mate, obviously I went to Australia and everything like that, and as soon as I got there, there were like storylines, and I thought, me naive, I was like, oh well, I'll just go out in there and just literally be myself, which is what I wanted to be. And when I went there, there were like storylines, you need to say this, you need to do that, and I was just like, this is not what I expected. However, I love the experience and everything like that. But it just...
So a lot of it was scripted then? Is that what you mean? Like they give you kind of...
Well, mate, do you know what it is, right? I didn't want to say it's scripted, but it is. No, it's... Some of it, mate, like I say, some relationships do like progress and end up being that it's reality. Like some relationships happen where it's like, it's real, mate. Whereas for me, I was told that I needed a certain person for his storyline. You need to basically... You know what I'm saying? So, and I didn't really, because I thought, well, I don't really see this girl in this way. She's my friend, you know what I mean? But I felt I was put in a position where I had to, you know what I mean? Because they kind of had us by the balls, mate. And that's me being totally honest, Callie, you know what I mean? So there was a few times I was in a lot of like uncomfortable positions. I mean, sometimes I was on there and I was just thinking like, I didn't even know if this is me, you know what I mean? But then there was parts of it where I thought, oh, like I really enjoyed the opportunities that I got from it, Cal. Obviously, it was really good. But like I say, mate, it was just I wanted to be. If I could go back, I would be. Obviously now I'm 27, so going back, I was 23, and I was quite naive, mate. I just done as I was told. I'll say that. I'll do this. If I could go back now, I would say no. I'm not fucking saying that. Do you know what I mean? So that's the way. That's how I would do it differently. Experience-wise, mate, kind of knocked them, mate. It gives a lot of opportunities. A lot of goods come from it as well. Got to visit some nice countries. Obviously, first series, Cal, Australia. Did I mean? Fucking women over there were tremendous.
What was that like for you then? What was that like? So you went when you got there, were you met at the airport and then you were instantly with people, or what?
So when I got there, mate, I had like a wifey that basically picked us up, took us to my hotel. I got to get to sleep that night, I think it was about 12 o'clock at night. And then the next day, I was due to go into the villa to go and film for the show. It was this wifey, mate, picked us up. She'd worked on I'm a Celebrity, and I just stood there, Adam from suddenly getting out of She must have thought it was this But I did, it was bad, she was lovely. And then she took us to the hotel, and then I got woke up early on the morning. The next day, jet lag the fuck, mate, looked absolutely dot rotten. And woke up, mate, and she was just like, oh, you need to sign these forms. And I was getting, I need bother. Next thing I knew, it just happened, get quick for us. Like, it happened so quick. So I was at work on the Monday, I was filming Geordie Shore on the Wednesday, totally alien to this just world that I've just been chucking in. Proper, mate, But I will say, like, everyone does judges people off these shows and that. And then when I met the cast that I was on the show with, mate, they were all sound like proper made us feel welcome and that, you know what I mean? But I've just made, you know what I'm like, I just talked to a fucking grape about the nectarine, can I?
That's good, man. It's good that you did that, you know what I mean? I mean, fucking, it's a mad experience, but it's like
crazy, mate. Like I say, I didn't regret now the same as you. It's like it's all
It's just learning, isn't it?
Of course it is, mate. You get a lot of bad comes with it, a lot of good of it. But do you know what it is, Carl? I couldn't give a shit what people think about me, mate. I really couldn't care less. I didn't care, mate. It's the best way to be, because for every 50 people that say something horrible, you get 100 people that say something nice. It's like,
mate,
the online stuff.
It's weird though. It's weird though, because you get a fucking 100 and say you get a load of people saying good shit. Yeah. You get a few people who say bad shit, and it's the ones that you fucking, the bad ones that you remember sometimes, and it's like fucking,
it's crazy. You do, mate. You do.
Like what? For what reason has this fucking person gone out of their way to fucking deliberately say something negative to someone for fucking no reason? It's mad. It's mental, mate. It's jealous fucking losers,
of course it is, mate. I mean, I used to look at some of these people and they didn't even have a profile picture. I'm thinking, do you know what it is? Even if you're saying something, sometimes, I'll admit, sometimes I think, fucking hell, like I'm getting slated about whatever. And I think, fucking hell. And sometimes it's, and then I think, fuck that. I couldn't give a fuck. Like, I would literally think, what the fuck do you give a fuck? Why do you even care about someone that you didn't know has to think of you when they didn't even know you? They're judging you off 40 minutes on a Tuesday night. That, you know, that's a show that's edited that doesn't even show who you are. So fair enough, mate. But if you're willing to go out your way and say something bad, then they've obviously got a void in the arm life that they make try and fill, basically. But it comes with it, mate. You know yourself with the job that you're in, you know.
For sure, mate. So did a lot of fucking people like did they kind of change? Was there a lot of people who kind of changed when you went on there? Did you think people kind of try to be friends with you because of that, or did you feel like people were kind of like offish with you because of that, or vice versa? You know what I mean?
It's a good question, that, mate. I mean, when I went on the show, obviously I was, you know, I can't like get on with everyone, mate. I'm very outgoing in that. I like to think I'm a likable guy, you know what I mean? But when I did come off, mate, at the end of the day, I'm not, even though I'm daft, I'm quite clued up as to who are my real mates and who's genuine. But everyone wanted to be my mate.
That's what I was basically saying.
Everyone
wanted a piece.
Everyone wanted to be my mate.
For sure, man. For sure.
And the thing is as well, I was always like, even if I was looking at people thinking like, you fucking never spoke to me before, but you're talking to us now. Like, I'd be playing, you know what I mean? But like, what you talking about, you know what I mean? You're a little bug. You're an absolute little wafer. But it was.
It does. It's a strange.
But I like myself.
It's a strange thing. That's the best way to be. But it's a strange thing, you know. You get like, didn't get us wrong. There's a difference between support and then like people who have genuinely never give a rat's ass about, and then because they think something, they jump on it. You know what I mean? Like, didn't get us wrong. Supporting's amazing, and having people supporting is the best thing in the world. But then obviously you get the fucking Rajis, obviously, who genuinely couldn't give a fucking toss what happens, and then because you're getting a little bit of attention, they want to try and cling to it.
It's crazy.
It opens your eyes to see the way some people actually are, doesn't it?
Because
it's an enlightening thing, really.
It is, and it's a weird experience. It's a mad experience unless you actually go through that. You'll know yourself. And like everyone's like, you're like thinking like, why are you fucking licking up my arse, basically? Like, you know what I mean? Kind of thinking like, you've never ever spoken to us before. Like, you're clearly not talking to us. You know what I mean? You just fucking, what can you get? That's the way I used to see it. But I was always played to everyone, mate.
You've got to be, mate. That's a good thing, because you just didn't change who you are, and then
100%, yeah.